Hello everyone, FunshotX here. This is a non-FTB video. Quick update on the development I've been doing on some new mods for Minecraft. The first one that I'm going to show you just really quick came about from playing a Feed the Beast Insanity type map, sitting around waiting and waiting and waiting for a farm to grow. I think I was actually waiting for trees to grow, and I was streaming this, and we came up with the idea, why don't we sing to the trees or cactuses or whatever I was growing, because we all know that when you play music around plants, they grow faster, right? Well, I'm like, bingo, mod idea. I've created the green jukebox in Minecraft. Basically, it's just a standard jukebox, just like any other thing, but when you put a record in it, I think the starting one has one, when you put a record in it, it makes your plants grow faster. Obviously, I've already run this one, but it grew all of this wheat and all these trees and all these melons that I've gotten rid of much quicker. Maybe, I don't know. Basically what it does is it picks a random block within a 7x7 area and applies bone meal to that block. So it's not always going to make it grow immediately that fast, but it makes it faster. The problem with this idea, this thing that I came up with, is really not in itself enough for a full mod. So it's almost like an extra utilities type item, you know, something that could go in there. So I'm putting this out there. If you guys can think of more things that would go around like a green feel, you know, like taking existing items and making them green, or I don't know. We gotta somehow, but that's not what you're here to see. You're here to see the mod that's in the title of this video called Arcane Impulsion. So this mod came around from so this green jukebox works on mushrooms, carrots, potatoes. It does not yet work on reeds and cactus. I know it looks like it does, but this is just natural growth. I can't get it to work yet on those. I'm still working on that. Anyway, back to Arcane Impulsion. You remember Applied Energistics? I kept calling it Arcane Energistics and getting really mad. I'm like, okay, I need to just create a mod that's called Arcane something so I can get it right half the time. And basically, at the time, I was also playing Cookie Clicker. And I've hence stopped playing that game. The Dungeons release was pretty boring, so I really not got back into it. But I thought, how could I put Cookie Clicker in Minecraft, other than a computer craft program, or other than just a button on a thing that you click and it serves no purpose? How can Cookie Clicker serve a purpose in Minecraft and make it worthwhile? I was also playing a Feed the Beast Insanity map again, where it really suffered because it did not have Equivalent Exchange. Equivalent Exchange makes Insanity maps possible, because you're starting with Cobble, and from Cobble you can get anything. So without Equivalent Exchange, you're just playing a skyblock map, right? So that's where Arcane Impulsion was blocked. Impulsion stemming from impulse, meaning the desire to do something, desire to click, the desire to click on that cookie until you have a billion cookies, right? But who wants a billion cobble or a billion anything? We want to be able to actually click on something, get some kind of reward from it, you know, and then move on. So let's introduce Arcane Impulsion. Before I do, I've really got to stress this is very, very, very early alpha, 0.0001, whatever you want to call it. It's not going to be publicly available. I am, however, looking for 2 people, and don't try and get into these if you're not certain you can do the task I'm asking you for. 1, I need an artist. I am not an artist. All the art that you're about to see is what they call programmer's art. It's just so that I, as a programmer, can tell what the heck the block looks like, and it is not going to be what this block looks like by the time this mod is released. So in no way or form look at these block or the GUIs or anything like that and think that's what it's going to look like. These are just placeholders. So I do need an artist. This person's got to have prior experience with modding Minecraft, or producing textures for a mod. Possibly if you've done a texture pack, a custom texture pack, and it's really good, I might consider you. But I really need someone that knows modded Minecraft textures, because I'm not going to be able to hold your hand doing it. You need to know and actually teach me a thing or two about texturing in modding Minecraft. The other person I'm going to need a tester, and a person that can write up like a wiki or information about the mod that can document it. So this person's got to be really dedicated and be able to find all the bugs in the mod. Hopefully they're also a coder, and so they know some Java and can figure out and they can look at the code and say, here's what's causing the bug, that kind of thing. And then at the very end, they can document and everything and produce a video or something on how to use the mod, that kind of thing. So those are the 2 people I'm looking for. Reply in the comments if you're interested, or better yet, send me a YouTube message. Here we go, without further ado, Arcane Impulsion. Ta-da! Okay, so we've got a ton of features that we plan on adding. These are just the basic features so you can understand the purpose of the mod. First thing I need to do is get into game mode, survival. Actually, let's set the time first. Okay, so we're in survival. This first block, it's the ID block. Don't even worry about the graphics. And it's called the Impulsion Drive. And it's a play on words. Impulse meaning the desire to do something. Drive meaning the desire to do something. The desire to do what? To click on this block. Punch it. Punch the block. Punch the block. This is your cookie clicker aspect. You can see that this block has a cobble attached to it. This cobble can be on any square, 1 block away from the Impulsion Drive. And when you click on this thing, it's going to drive or impulse into this connected cobble block and steal its arcane power. And the arcane may change to something else, I don't know. That's the working name for it. But it's stealing its arcane units. Industrial Craft has EU, Buildcraft has MJ. All the mods have some kind of like power unit. Well, I'm using, they're called impulse units, or I think they're, what did I call them? IMs, impulse somethings. But it's the measure of how many times you've taken energy out of this block, right? And Cobble has very little, obviously, so when you punch this thing with Cobble, you're going to get very little return. And on its own, it does nothing. You're just going to punch it, and it's really doing nothing. Behind the scenes, it's taking out some power, and there's a chance that this Cobble will be destroyed by doing this. But it's a random chance. Pretty low. Okay, so how do we get all that arcane power, or the impulse units, out of the impulse drive? Well, that's where the AC block comes in, which is the Arcane Collector. That will take any block around it that has arcane units and kind of steal it. So if we click on here, we get a very basic GUI. Of course, this is going to be all changed in the future. I don't even show the player's UI yet. But this, you can see this thing is holding 4 IMs. And basically, if I punch this thing, you can see that it should now hold 5. I can punch it again, and now hold 6. So the impulse drive on its own really is just your interface to punch the block. Punching the cobble does nothing, right? But punching the block will give you the impulse units, and then the collector will take those and collect it. And this goes from a mantra that I've really enjoyed mods doing, is where you're in the world, not necessarily in a GUI. I don't like to be open like this and do all my configuration and clicking on buttons in here and doing all this stuff. I'd rather be out here building stuff, right? So the cool thing about this mod is it almost creates like a pattern or a snake, or almost like a multi-block, really, but you're in total control of how it's laid out. And based on how you lay it out, it might be more efficient in one way or the other. So it's really got a lot of configuration and customization and optimization and automation, all of the great things that I enjoy in other mods. So that's the collector. It's really, its only purpose is to pull the IMs out of the impulsion drive. Okay, so you'll notice this one has a cobble. This one has an iron, gold, diamond, and emerald. This is kind of a working concept right now, but I basically want you to be able to upgrade this block so that it can pull out more energy. Maybe there'll be a wood block in here too. If you think about equivalent exchange and equivalent exchange, there's basically a tier system where you kind of have the simple blocks like stone and cobble and dirt, and then you move into wood and then iron, and kind of have little tiers or progression levels. It's kind of how I'd like to organize this, where if you punch this block and it's attached to cobble, you're only going to get 1 unit. If you go and punch it maybe against the iron, maybe you get like 4 every time you punch, right? So this thing will go up a lot more, faster. It's not doing it right now, but maybe gold's a little bit more, diamond even more, emerald maybe even more. I don't know. I'm still setting the progression there. But that's the theory, that you can upgrade through different tiers and then your punches are worth more, just like in Cookie Clicker, right? And that's kind of how you get that. The Arcane Collector itself is a very limited block. It can only hold up to 32, I believe I hold. Maybe it's 12. Maybe 12 is the max. Let's punch it one more and see. These are all, again, working values, so they could change by the end. If you've come across this video in like 5 months down the line and this mod's already released, don't take any of these values to heart. Go watch a newer video for actually the current values, or check out the wiki or something. So yeah, it's up to 13 now. And also, there's a limiting factor on how often you can punch this thing. Like, I'm spam clicking right now, but really you only gain an impulse unit every at a configured time. There's like a cooldown, right? And there'll be a ways to upgrade this block so that so there's less of a cooldown, so you can punch it even faster. Okay, so we've now got the impulsion drive, got a way to collect the IMs from it. What do we want to do next? Let's go over here. So this one's got a bunch of impulse drives all connected to an arcane collector. And this one, because there's a cooldown, you could actually just do this and you could rotate around it, and you get them a lot faster because this guy can pull out. He's really hard to click, so let's do this and put a new one down. If you watch his units, watch, they'll go up by 8. They should. He only collects every once in a while. It starts off very slow. It's a progression system, so at the beginning he's collecting very slow, but he can collect from every item around him. So that's kind of a... do you want to spend the extra materials to build another block so that you can get twice the speed, or do you want to punch more? So kind of up to you. So he's already up to his max at 32. Okay, so what is the next thing you want to do? Well, when I get to 32, there's really nothing I can do other than building another arcane collector or something, right? And I don't want to do that. We'll go with the IS block, which is the impulse storage block, and that can hold up to 128 by at the base level. So you can think of, you could carry a bunch of these AC blocks around an IS block, and it could hold, kind of like this. This IS block is connected to that AC and that AC, so they're both storing their IMs in the storage block, and then now they can go out and collect from the AE block, or from the ID block. Alright, so that's the storage unit. Again, it's going to be upgradable, so it'll start out at 128 and it'll build up maybe exponentially or something as you upgrade it. Okay, so in this mod, think configuration, think upgrades, think getting progressively better tier system, that kind of thing. Okay, so that's a storage block. You're probably thinking now, Funshine, am I really going to just punch Cobble for the rest of my, Let's Play, trying to get IMs? No, you're not. Once you've upgraded enough, you've kind of unlocked basically you've got the tier 1 is the impulse drive, the tier 2 is kind of the storage system, tier 3 is this concept of extraction. If you go back to Equivalent Exchange, remember this mod kind of relies on that concept quite heavily, you have an extractor block. So you can now take items, and right now it only works cobble and dirt, but it'll work with pretty much any vanilla block pretty soon, and it'll start extracting their values out of them. So the item will be consumed. So you can see it's consuming it, and it's putting it in the collector. It's just going to appear really quick, and then it's going to go into the storage block. But yeah, so we can put cobble in there, we can put some dirt, and again, you can chain a bunch of these around a collector, and it would collect them from them all. Okay, so that's how the AE block works. Oh wait, there's another slot. What's that for? Well, there's a thing here. Yeah, ignore the crazy graphics again. If I put one of these here, next time this ticks, it's switched it over to a cobble. This has called it a template, right? And let's do another one. Let me get some more dirt and get another template. And this is actually a graphic that I borrowed from a tutorial by VSVW. Go check out his tutorials; they're excellent. But I just had it available, and I'm going to change it. But it was just easier. Oops! Don't make cobble. I want to put dirt in you. So now it's a dirt template. In Equivalent Exchange, you kind of learned an item by extracting from it once, and then you could always build it again. I don't really have that concept right now. You have to store. As you break down the block into its arcane components, you kind of store its template, or its, whatever its makeup is. Well, now once we have that template, we can go in the AC block, which is the arcane condenser block, and we can tell it what we want it to make. So I'm going to say for right now, it's telling me how many are available in storage and collectors. Again, the graphic bugs, don't worry about them. Right now, there's 2 IMs available in all the storage that's collected. So it's really only looking at this storage unit. Even though this one's full, it can't pull for them because it's too far away. But this one's got 4, and it's telling you it's got 4. And so now if I go ahead and say, make me some cobble, it's going to start pulling out cobble. And I can say, make me some dirt. And if, obviously it's not going to work in there, but... And now, dirt is a little more expensive. In the working version right now, cobble's 1, dirt's 2. It's really simple. That's not going to be the final value. Pretty cool, right? So now it's creating me dirt. So, yeah, let's go ahead and... You can see that if we put in... well, let's get rid of some of these so we're not... Come on, go ahead and finish this off. Okay. Alright, are you all done? If I go ahead and put in 2 cobble, remember cobble's 1, dirt's 2, we should get out 1 dirt in the end. So, it's an equivalent exchange. You know, it's not the mod, but it's the concept, right? I'm going to put in, it's not going to be equivalent. There's going to be some kind of loss. It's going to take a little bit of the arcane power to produce the block. So, and it's also not, you see, it's not immediate. That speed that you were seeing there is probably not the final speed. It's going to be a little bit slower. So before, in equivalent exchange, you could put a diamond in and get an 8,000 cobble immediately, right? It's not going to happen. If you were to condense or extract from a diamond here, you would have a ton of IMs in storage, but it would produce cobble very, a lot slower. But this is going to be interactable with other mods, so you could hook like a wooden pipe and extract from this or something, so you can pull out this cobble or the dirt or whatever comes out of there. So that's a plan there. And again, you could do something like this where you have multiple condensers, and you can say, this one make cobble, this one make dirt, this one make cobble. And then if you had a bunch of extractors and impulse drives, that kind of things, you could make them all at once. Or you could say this one pull out diamonds, whatever. That's about it for now. I just really wanted to get that out there so you guys could see what I'm doing, why I'm not putting out as many Let's Play Feed the Beast in Space, Unleashed in Space. I'm really working hard on this. I know you're going to say, FunshionX, you start a lot of projects and you have a habit of not finishing them. And that's where you guys come in. I really need you to push me, really be excited about this mod, make lots of comments, make lots of suggestions, and tell me you're looking forward to it. Again, what's the objective of this mod? Well, it's not to replace Equivalent Exchange, even though that mod is since 1.25, really, I haven't had the ability to do what it did before, to make a Insanity map before. That pyramid map, they promised and promised and promised to have another pyramid map out, but it doesn't work without Equivalent Exchange condensers and all that kind of stuff. And the transmutation table. You can't play it. It's just a Skyblock map without it. So really, if Equivalent Exchange is not going to come out and produce something, then why not have a mod that fills that need? I feel mine's different enough to not be a clone of Equivalent Exchange. It's based more on some other concepts of multi-blocks, being in the world, upgrades, and tier systems. And hopefully it's going to be a little bit more balanced than Equivalent Exchange was. And maybe we'll see it in the Feed the Beast challenge map at one point. And I think that would be the ultimate goal. Or in my own type of challenge map. We'll see. That's all I wanted to say. If you guys like it, please leave me a like. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And definitely feel free to use that comment section to put your suggestions and tips. And remember that I have those 2 spots open. I might, if I get really good applications, add an additional tester. But as far as a public alpha or a public beta, that kind of thing, we're probably a little ways off. So you're just going to have to wait. I do plan to stream a little bit of the development, kind of like Soren does, but I am a very new Java developer, so sometimes I make some derpy things, so I'm a little bit nervous to code on screen, on camera, so you guys can watch all my failures. But as I get better, then I'll definitely stream a lot more of its development, and you guys can see how it's progressing. And eventually, yeah, we will have a public release where you guys can all test it out and give me your feedback, try and bounce a little bit with me, and then we can put it out as a release mod. So that is it for Arcane Impulsion. Arcane Impulsion. I gotta be able to say my own mod, right? It's the AI mod. with its AE, AC, IS, ID, and AC blocks. Yeah, graphics to be determined. And a lot of new features. I've got 2.5 pages worth of features that I want to put in this thing, or to-dos. And I've prioritized them, so we'll get a working mod first, and then we'll add in a bunch of the cool effects and other things. Like, I'd really like it to, when you punch this thing, to have... Well, that's not going to work. Doesn't work in creative mode, right? So when you punch this thing, some kind of graphic effect shows you gaining the arcane out of this guy. But things like, upgrading this so it's a less likely chance that the block is destroyed. So the cooldown is less. So the collector can collect faster or hold more. So the storage unit can hold more and collect faster. So the condenser condense items faster. All those things are going to be upgradable over time. So it kind of feels like a tiered system, or that kind of thing. So that's it for Arcane Impulsion. I will see you guys next time. Fun X. Catch you later. Bye.